Hey guys, Sandy here. Welcome back to the channel. Today I am playing with some fun Brutus Monroe products. I have these pre-printed watercolor cards. Now I did a layout with these last week and used the tree and the bells here. I'm going to use the stocking this week because this is my son, when he was overseas, he opened up his stocking and wanted to get into it. He had actually already started opening things and then was like, can I open this yet? It wasn't Christmas. So I pulled this No Peeking from my stash because I thought that would be totally appropriate. My favorite glitter sequins, the Playful Plaid paper collection, and some vellum, and I'll probably bring in some chroma mists as well. So let's see what I can do. All right guys, I'm starting out with some black cardstock, and I am going to struggle a moment to get my punch to work. And I'm like, what the heck is going on? Why is it not working? And then I realized that there is a little notch where the punch has to meet up perfectly for it to be able to actually punch. Now I am punching stars in the middle of my paper, so this kind of punch is something that is handy. And then I'm just kind of putting them around the middle of the paper, but around the edge, because I know my photo and my watercolor panel are going to go in the center of the layout. Now, of course, I am playing with the Playful Plaid paper pack again, because I think this paper pack is gorgeous. You guys know I love me some plaid, and it just works out so beautifully. Now I am going to back these stars with the plaid, and I'm trying to kind of vary which plaids I'm using where. I don't want all the same kind of plaid next to each other. I want them to be spread out so it looks a little bit more interesting. Now, of course, you could just punch out stars out of the plaid paper and put it on top of the paper. It would be a little bit more, less time consuming, not more time consuming, less time consuming. But in this case, I wanted to use the vellum, and I wanted to add some sequins and make little star shaker pockets. So I figured I would just put everything backing it from the back of the layout. So just had to switch out a couple so that they looked good together. And now I'm going to put some foam down so I can use my absolute favorite sequins in the world. Now I am just using some foam dots here, and I'm just loosely going around the star shape. I don't want to have too much of a gap around the star shape because I don't want the sequins that will go in these little mini shaker pockets anywhere. I don't want there to be such space that the sequins will shake and that you won't see them behind the pocket. So as you can see, just making these little funky star shapes. Now I am being careful not to have any of my foam show where the star is itself. You don't want that because you don't want to see the foam through the vellum in your sequin pocket, your little shaker pocket here. So I cut off some black cardstock that I can put on the back of this page. I do cut it smaller than a 12 by 12 because I don't want to have to worry about matching up the corners exactly. I figure if I cut it down a little bit shorter and I place that backing paper here, then I don't have to worry about it. Like I don't have to worry about any kind of hangover or hangout or anything around the edges of the layout. So I add a ridiculous amount of foam squares right there. And now you can see my little sequin shaker pockets with the stars. So now I go ahead and put on a larger sheet of cardstock as well, and then I'm going to washi tape around the edges because that's what I do. Now I was, for some reason, while I was putting this layout together, I was so concerned that the papers were going to pop off the back. So that's why I did 2 sheets of cardstock and then washi tape around the edges. Probably didn't need to do that. It's probably overkill, you guys, but you know, sometimes when you're in the moment, those thoughts pop into your head and you're kind of powerless to them, and you just have to, go with it. So now I'm going to figure out which Playful Plaid papers I want to use to back my photos here. Now I am about finished with the Christmassy colors of the Playful Plaid. I've got a lot of fall colors left, but most of the red and green is gone. So I'm trying to figure out how the heck I am going to matte these guys and what I'm going to do with that. So I trimmed down the panel just a tad bit, and then I'm going to matte it on this plaid thing here. And then my photo is actually going to go over that bit of plaid photo mat here, or I guess it's considered a watercolor mat here. And then I'm going to get some white cardstock, and I'm going to matte my photo on the white cardstock. And I decided to do that because the watercolor panel is going to be a big, boom, in-your-face hunk of white. Even though I am going to be coloring in the image on the panel, that's still an awful lot of white. So I figured I needed to kind of balance that huge amount of white out, so I matted my photo on white as well. Now you can see some of the stars are almost completely covered up. If I would have planned that out a little bit better, I probably could have had a little bit more star showing. But I didn't plan it out. I just kind of went for it. And sometimes that's all you got to do is just go for it. So my stickers are going to say no peeking, and then I'm going to use a small paintbrush, and I'm going to dip my paintbrush directly into my Chroma mists, and I'm going to go ahead and paint this entire little panel here. Now I'm not going to make you watch me paint the entire panel because that would probably be a little bit boring. I don't particularly want to watch someone paint an entire panel, so if that is your thing, I am sorry, but we won't be doing the entire thing. So I probably should have also painted this before I matted everything down and glued everything down. However, like I said, when you're in the moment, sometimes the brightest thoughts don't come into your head. Sometimes you're just kind of like, what? And you're just in the moment and you're scrapbooking away. So now I am also not going to water down these Chroma mists at all. I want them to be the deepest, darkest colors possible. I don't want to have to worry about doing a ton of different layers. I just want to make it happen. Now I did make brown, and I did that by mixing green, orange, and yellow together. And that's how I painted the little teddy bear in the stocking up there. And you could see on the packaging that I had mixed that together. Now I also did the lights with a little red in the center, and then I went yellow over top of them while it was still damp so that the center of the lights kind of blopped out a little bit. That's a highly technical term, you guys. Blopping out is a highly technical term. Now I'm going to add a little bit of my absolute favorite sequins on the outside of the layout as well as underneath of the stars. And we're just going to give them the little bit of extra sparkle for this page. I'm going to do some journaling in a white pen, and then I decide, you know what, I need more pops of white on this layout for sure. So I decide to do a little bit of outlining. Now I am going to outline the stars and also around the edge of the page. And then I also do just some random little dots around each of the sequins. And I really feel that all these little extra touches of white bring in that white blob in the center of the paper, because there is a lot of white on this layout, and putting it in the background like this makes it all one cohesive thought and ties it all together. Now I do smear a little bit of my pen, and that's because I am not patient and I rub my hand over the ink while it's still wet. But you guys are going to be completely patient and not rub your hands all over your wet ink, right? Right. So I'm just going to finish doing the little stars right here. And then of course I added the date up here on the upper left, and then that is going to do it for this layout, you guys. Thank you so much for joining me. Thanks for watching. Of course, I'll have some of the products that I used linked down below, and I will see you guys again real soon for another video.